Can a Cajun get his blanket back? They left him in the jacket, they left him in the head sock, they left him in the boots, but they took his goddamn blanket. I guess because they was like, you know what? We're moving him to a new area. He's wearing a jacket. Yeah, but he doesn't have to be. They showed it before, but I gotta give a shout out to Sunspot's opening card because my husband mentioned it was cool. And it is. It's a refreshing departure from the other two X-Men title card locations, which is like desert at night, I guess, or hill during the day. Shouts out on X Factor making it to the intro. Shouts outs in particular to Val Cooper. I know who you are and I always did. It's so great to get that confirmation during this season instead of waiting to like the middle of next season. Beast was bamfed down here by Nightcrawler, and Rogue just flew down here, and I was thinking to myself, you know, he probably could have bamfed them both, but after bamfing an entire group of people last episode, he's probably exhausted. Knock knock. It's America. With the ship in the air, an airship. Open the force field. Stop having it be closed. Yo, external Rogue looks so badass. I love everything about this. I love the idea to put the effects out there visually. Like this cool constellation effect that's happening in real time around Rogue all the time is the coolest shit I've ever seen. And it makes me hope that they add this skin to Marvel Rivals because I will get it immediately. I'll start playing Rogue right now if they'd say, hey, yeah, we're going to put this skin in there. The Marvel equivalent exchange, whenever you talk to like some kind of outer deity, if you want to do something for love, that's gonna royally bite you in the ass later. It happened with Spider-Man, and it's happening with my girl Rogue. I love Gambit and Rogue. I think they're the best love story in Marvel. And Hank is so smart, he's stupid. He has no idea what's going on here. It'd be cool if the scars that she got talking to the Celestial, or air quotes, talking to the Celestial, she tried to punch him a bunch. I definitely get why this dude just put Apocalypse into the world because, hey, you guys need to struggle. Struggles was gonna make you better. Looks at all the Sentinels, looks at Genosha. We already struggling, brother. And then love wins the day even further later on. The scars she had would have been really cool for her to keep. At least some of them. Listen, I love Jubilee. She's my favorite. But I don't think she should be behind the wheel of a jet. We've lost 3 jets. And those were with pilots with experience. Jubilee probably just learned to fly this in X-Force. And granted, with X-Force, her training was probably crazy. But the 3 experienced pilots got blown up, and you're going, yeah, I'm gonna have a dogfight with Havoc. Do you know how much money this is? Do you know how much money this costs? Charles could go into some billionaire's brain, though, and be like, send $20 million to my Swiss bank account. And they'll just do it. And they'll have the money to keep doing this stuff. He doesn't have to worry about the tax man, because he could just be like, IRS, these are my records. You know? He's free to do whatever he wants. They deployed the strong guy. Dude, when he started talking and you get to hear his goofy voice, I was so happy. That's exactly how I pictured his voice sounding in my head. Also, deploy the siren. I didn't expect to see her here. Was she here the whole time? How did I miss her? This shot is so badass. And you know Cable is listening to Rage Against the Machine. He's listening to Killing in the Name. He has no idea why that's funny, but it's very funny. They let my boy do his Marvel vs. Capcom finish! He didn't do pistol, 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 into Viper Beam, into Hyper Viper Beam. But that's fine, I'll take this. That shot of Cable on top of the helicarrier with all the planes and lasers everywhere was badass. This one's incredible. You could at any point just pause this show and have a wallpaper. See what I mean? Also, this eye glowy shot, can Cable do that on purpose? Like, is that a thing he's consciously doing? Or is that his powers like leaking out of him? Because he only ever does it dramatically. But anyway, this shot, and then this shot, dope as hell. You can tell by even just the line weight here, the Sakuga animators kicked in the windows and descended from the ceiling, and they're ready to get busy. Although I do art, I'm not a cartoonist, so if you are a cartoonist and you know what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments what's happening there. What happens when that happens, because I would love to know. Because it's his parents, it reminds me of that when you come home late and your parents are waiting for you sitting in the dark with the cigarette lit up, you know? Like, well, where were you, mister? I see you're hanging with the wrong crowd. It's like they just found a joint in his room. And it's just funny because his parents look like this, and he looks like this. So this is Morph. Do they have the same abilities as the mutant that they're turning into for a limited time, or what's going on here? Because Mystique's head would have been gone if she tried this. Logan was like, yeah, you go out there and be me. For some reason, you're real good at imitating me. Like you've been admiring the little things I do from a distance or something. Oh my god, Octavius, you look so good! My man got the power of the sun in the palm of his hand and shit. It's cool to see Wolverine using a katana, and I love that he has a half katana, half claw, like, fighting style. I would love to see more of this. This actually made me laugh out loud, that he's just like, there ain't nothing left for you to mess up. I also love seeing her do this. It's always cool when she does this. Wolverine's brains being all screwed up is the reason how he was able to infiltrate the X-Men as a bad guy in Ultimate X-Men, which is a really fun read. Ultimate X-Men and the Ultimate Universe in general is what absolute DC is. Super edgy, hardcore, dark, modern versions of the characters you have that are also running concurrently with the main books. It's how we got Miles Morales, because Miles Morales became the new Ultimate Spider-Man after the Spider-Man in that universe died. I also love that we get the Star Fox enemy camera so we can talk shit back and forth. This is what the Air Force needs, in my opinion. You need to be able to see your enemy and talk shit to them. I love how much Havoc is the way we perceive Cyclops. Like, everybody thinks Cyclops is this big scrub loser, when actually he's just a stoic militant. And here you have his brother, who is that guy. But yeah, Havoc is definitely that youth pastor that thinks he's cool and down to earth because he has an acoustic guitar. He's that guy. Did Jubilee just do a Destructo disc? Hell yes, I'm all for this. You can do whatever Dragon Ball Z shit you want with Jubilee. Oh my goodness, the world is her oyster. She blew up that jet, but that's fine. She's too cool. You know, this is fine. This is payment enough for blowing up the jet, is being this dope. Blowing up the jet is cool and fine if you're able to be this cool about it, so that's fine. Don't worry, Jubilee. The professor will just take that out of... Don't worry, Jubilee. The professor will just take that out of some guy's head. Don't worry, Jubilee. The professor's just gonna take that out of some guy's bank account. You don't worry. You don't lose no sleep about that. I love the way Multiple Man uses his power in this episode. I also think that it's really funny that he looks like he's straight out of The Watchmen. Like, he doesn't look like he belongs in this universe. And I mean that affectionately. Dude figured, fuck it, I'm gonna be Mentok the Mind Taker. This is supposed to be a serious fight for survival, and they have this hilarious moment here. Where yeah, Gambit card comes in from off screen, Multiple Man looks at it like, oh, that right there was enough. And then Polaris pops her shield like, yeah, I know what's gonna happen next. I don't know, this show has incredible comedic timing. Everyone can relax. Gambit has returned. Again, Multiple Man is from a 60s cartoon, and I love him so much. Look at the way he summons more Multiple Men. I expected him to also laugh like Skeletor. I've got you now, Gambit, you rube! So Gambit learned that you can just blow people up. And so now he's gonna start doing that. Whenever this happens to Cyclops, it reminds me of the time Daredevil was shooting with a machine gun and couldn't see who he was shooting, so he was just apologizing. Great, now we have no X-Corp tower, and Apocalypse is back. I hope you're happy, Nathan. Also, the professor has already had to steal from one millionaire today to pay for a jet. The fourth one. And now he has to pay for an entire office tower that was just built. It was just opened. So does this count as an X-Mansion being destroyed? Because if so, in the history of this particular show, that's 2 X-Mansions and about 4 jets? And this mansion was a skyscraper, which means you'd have to stack mansions on top of each other to get this place. But now we're going to count it as one mansion. That school charter is finished also. Gambocalypse isn't real. Gambocalypse can't hurt you. This is terrifying. And also sort of cool. I would love to see more characters fuse like this. We did just get to see something crazy like Venom as the Ghost Rider or something like that in the comics. I really have to go back and read more current comics because stuff is wild right now. And Chuck doesn't even have his combat chair. This is an office chair. He doesn't have rockets on this. Also, of course, Apocalypse wants this body. Gambit is super agile, but most importantly, very, very sexy. Considering she has super cool cosmic powers, it took her a really long time to get here. But damn, she knows how to make an entrance. Look to the east, Gandalf the White Sunrise ass. Also, this probably was a special hell for Archangel, being controlled by Apocalypse again. I would have just handed Apocalypse over, but I guess since he has to exist, this is the best option that they had. And it was worth it to have Celestial Rogue. And I would love to see them dive into her experiences now that she no longer has that power, and now that Nightcrawler has sacrificed his own life for hers. That'll be really cool to dig into next season, especially since we have next season. And because they know they have a season after that probably, we can actually linger on some of these things and we don't have to blaze through all the stories so fast. I think that was everybody's problem with this season, is that they didn't really have time to sit on certain things. They just rushed right through it. Hell, Jubilee's training with X-Force was in the intro. But then again, it does make the intro required viewing every time, right? Nightcrawler really asked himself what would Jesus do and then did that. But now we get a world where Polaris and Bishop are out on a date. I wonder if he's teaching these kids like physics. The professor seems to be going, yeah, pay attention to Professor Quentin. Also, it looks like Morph is over there talking to Wolverine. Wonder what they talking about. Hey, Wing's still alive. This is a really sweet shot of Gambit and Rogue hanging out and Rogue reading Nightcrawler's Bible. It's just really funny that Remy is here next to this Bible in this close proximity and not lighting on fire because he's the biggest thief that ever thiefed. When you know a man who literally martyred himself to you, you probably want to read the book that inspired him to do that. This is really sweet. This entire little montage of things that they get to do because he sacrifices himself is really sweet. It's sad, but sweet. And he's just like, fuck it. I have an idea of where this leads, but I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to make predictions that I know might come true. I don't want to actually spoil things. For a moment, I thought Beast was going to walk through the giant apocalypse head, and that's how we get a more ape-like or cat-like or even white Beast. I thought that's how Beast was going to evolve. Or we might get Dark Beast that way. I knew it was you, Mystique. I knew it. She was acting a little too weird, a little too aggressive. Who is Mystique working with, though? And we find out that Creed became president, because my main prediction for next season is probably going to be more closely related to current day America. Awesome season, awesome art and animation. This is a dream come true. I'm so happy that this is a show, and that this is a thing, and it's continuing, and that we might even get Spider-Man. And thank you all for hanging out with me through it. We're going to start covering Lanterns next. Remember, whenever you find yourselves in times of trouble, ask yourself, what would Kurt do? I love you.